Shabbat Shalom. As I've had to do for the last several Shabbatot, I must start with a disclaimer. Don't shoot the messenger. You are not going to like what you hear. Maybe. Maybe you'll think it doesn't apply to you, so it doesn't matter. This Shabbat's Parsha deals a lot with gossip, slander, Lashon Hara. Have we ever been guilty of that? Do we like a juicy tidbit? Have we ever talked about somebody else? Have we been spoken about? I have rules for you. I was tempted to only give you the backside where it says, when Lashon Hara is forbidden, because many are guilty of that. But when you go to the front and you read, when Lashon Hara is permissible, people have a tendency to lie to themselves, to delude themselves into thinking, oh yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. My Lashon Hara was acceptable. It was permissible. We distort the actual truth sometimes. I will leave that for you to decide. I wrote this sermon because, don't shoot the messenger, it comes to me, only to find out that there was a lot of Lashon Hara circulating around, as there always is. But that I found out after I wrote the sermon. And I decided not to change a word. So take it as it is. Don't shoot the messenger. Shabbat Shalom. As Jews, the world will do its best to speak ill of us, tear us down. Well, you know what? We don't need to be doing that to each other. It serves no good purpose. Our parsha this Shabbat is a double portion. Tazria Metzora, and it deals with exactly that, focusing on a condition called sara'at that is a direct result of such a transgression. It was no different in biblical times than it is right now. If we don't change, nothing will. Sara'at is a terrible affliction that truly is a disease of the soul that eats away at everything. Evil speech, Lashon Hara, gossip, slander hurts everyone. The speaker, the listener, and the one being spoken about. This parsha is challenging for B'nai Mitzvah students of all ages. One adult B'nai Mitzvah class, I had to change their whole Torah portion because no one wanted to deal with it. Why? Because it deals with this horrible affliction of the skin. Anyone that has herpes gets very upset when they hear this parsha. I'm sorry, but don't worry, that's not sara'at. But it again is something that is an affliction, and not only can it be found on the skin, it can be found on clothes, and it can be found in homes. Mold. Primarily, aside from when people are dealing with issues of mold in homes, sometimes on their clothes, that's when it can resonate the most, not with that, but the fact of the correlation that it has with Lashon Hara, with gossip. Moses' sister Miriam spoke Lashon Hara about him, and she ended up being segregated from the camp until she was healed. In the Torah, we get the prayer, and we get the song, El Na Rafanallah, heal Miriam, from Moses' exact plea to God, in spite of what she said about him. So what does it mean to actually truly heal? In the case of, sometimes it's thought of as leprosy, sara'at, well, that's one thing, healing that. But what about healing after the gossip or the slander has occurred? Is that even possible? Words hurt. Words do damage. Kabbalah states, one of the most spiritually damaging acts has become all too familiar, all forms of evil speech. Our words carry immense power, yet they manifest in ways we cannot see. When we refrain from speaking or listening to evil speech, we in turn protect ourselves, the person being spoken about, and the person that is hearing it. It's important to recognize when you might be lured into evil speech or communications and utilize the energy available to restrict any kind of involvement. Now, this is asking a lot, whether in person or online in social media. It's hard at times to avoid a very juicy bit of gossip that's coming our way, but it can be very, very damaging. And it can be very hurtful on so many levels, especially when it is slanderous in nature. We live in an age when the damage can be done without even facing another person. Social media, the internet, even talking or texting on the phone can feed the opportunity for negativity and sara'at to take hold. It's quick, it's easy, it's effective, and it's a way to do damage, unlimited damage, without ever having to face anyone. Someone called me this week wanting a meeting to discuss an individual that they were having a problem with. They wanted a pastoral consultation. And I made an appointment with them, and it got canceled, and I made an appointment. I said, why can't we just meet in person, all of us, to work out whatever the problem is? If you tell me everything that you find fault with about this other person and they are not present, it's damaging. And it's Lashon Hara. Now, if you look at your rules, you could fool yourself into thinking, oh, but I was doing it for this reason and this reason and this reason, so it was right. You got to be honest with yourself. If you tell me everything that you find fault with about this other person and they are not present, is what I said, it could be very damaging. And it could be considered Lashon Hara. I was then told, well, it's for the other person's good. You know, we really need to know. You need to know what's going on with them, and you need to watch out. Oh, and by the way, this person is so hung up on themselves that they started speaking Lashon Hara about me. Gossip and slanderous speech serves no one. As I said, the listener, the speaker, and the subject alike. So why go there? Ever. When you look at the rules and you talk about it, as some did in Torah study last night, you kind of wonder what in the world is there left to talk about. Sometimes it's cathartic to just get it all out. Diarrhea of the mouth. Purge the feelings all over the internet, in text, in emails, on socials. The resentments that build up inside manifest into a disease, hoping the diseased person to infect another with anyone who will listen. I then spoke to an entirely different person this past week. Why? This is the Torah portion of the week, so this is what happens. This other person was complaining about other people who had wronged them. And I said, how can this negativity serve you? I'm feeling the negativity just listening to it. If you continue to dwell in the past and what you think these people have done to you without ever resolving anything and without letting go, it is going to drag you down farther than anything they could ever do to you. Dwelling too hard on the past can affect your present and rob you of your future. Resolution, even if only in your own mind and spirit, is critical in order to move forward. It feeds on itself, this negativity. There can never be joy when the tendency toward evil speech occupies any part of your day. It churns the energy within, and it surrounds all involved to do absolutely no good. In your rules, it says, well, maybe if it's to be constructive and it's truthful, but think about it. Are we always the best judge of what's constructive? Let's all take a moment to think about the times when we might have engaged in or become aware of someone talking smack about another person. Has anyone ever been in that? You don't have to raise your hands. Just ask yourself. It is hurtful. The person I spoke to this week said their good name was all they had. Their mother had always told them that. And you know what? It's true. Couldn't say much to that. Our name, our reputation, the deeds that we have done, all of that matters. It is vital. And you know what? It lives long on after we are gone. Many of us have been subject to this kind of an attack at one time or another. Why? People are people. Some people are good. I like to think most people are good. Some people can be evil to the core. They can be unkind. They can be selfish, jealous, resentful, paranoid, and maybe even completely off base. But when those words come out, it is like the High Holy Day children's story. Once you squeeze that toothpaste out of the tube, you cannot put it back in. Words are like that. One person's experience may be totally unfounded and as far from reality as it could be, and yet, if it is their reality, that's what they're living with. That is true for them. Now, that doesn't mean that they should then infect that poison into everyone else. Such was the case with Miriam and Moses, but it boomeranged on her. Lashon hara, gossip, is a very slippery slope. Once someone has spoken badly about another, you cannot ever take that back. No one wins, least of all the person spoken against. That person has to rely on the listener weighing their own experience to settle on some sort of truth. But experiences can be twisted and manipulated to suit the individual. In the end, as per the Torah, it is best for everyone to keep negative feelings to themselves and keep their mouths shut. This is so important that in burial, we are meant to place a bit of earth on the backside of the shovel to ensure that no Lashon hara will be spoken about the individual who has passed. It is important in life to choose our intentions, our motivations, and most particularly our words carefully, and use them to express joy, love, gratitude, rather than use them as weapons to bring another down in order to build somebody else up. Words of love spoken from the heart, that is what we need, especially all of us as a Jewish people. We can be our own worst enemies. We should be loving on each other, not hating on each other, because the world is very comfortable doing that to us. When we are mindful to express ourselves with a consciousness of positivity, purity, and good, our entire world can change, personally and collectively. And this week's Parshiot, the double portion, reminds us of that. Kabbalist Karen Berg states, words from the heart are like sparkling diamonds we can clutch when the night gets too dark, when the world grows too cold, or when we forget there are people in the world who actually love us. We are lovable. We need the power of words to help us heal and build our lives. Our double portion this week is designed to work in unison to bring about an energy and a healing of the spirit that can be the energy that radiates out into the universe. Words do indeed have the power to lift us up. We all face difficulties. We all are afraid to face the world sometimes. We all get scared. Words of love and encouragement are not a luxury, but a vital medicine. Each and every one of us needs to thrive in this world. If we are lucky, our hearts and our souls will be filled with words of love. So, the question we must ask ourselves now is, what energy do we want to surround ourselves with? What do we want to manifest? What kind of people do we want to associate with? Do we want to hang out speaking slander against someone? Think about it. Is that how we want to spend our day? Feeding off the negative, slanderous words of another person, about another person, hearing it, dwelling in that energy? Or do we want to say instead, maybe, you know what? I don't want to hear it. You have your experience. I have mine. Let's just let it be and go on. Let's not engage. Let's stop it, shut it down right now. Let's protect ourselves and the energy in our personal and our collective universe and keep illness, disease, dis-ease, sara'at at bay. The illness that follows negativity of any kind. How many times have you been subject to negativity? Does your stomach ever get tied up in knots? Do you ever feel like you can't breathe? Do you ever feel like you just were spoken to or heard something that made you feel dirty and you wanted to take a shower? Did you ever feel like what you heard made you want to give up? Life is too short to waste it on people or situations that will drag you or anyone else down. Miriam had a serious lesson to learn about her own brother. A lesson we are all learning from, even to this day. A Shabbat, thousands and thousands of years away. People are people. Temptation, it's everywhere. So too is Lashon Hara, juicy gossip. The choice is always ours. Engage or not. As we go through this Shabbat and we continue the counting of the Omer, once again, this is the 20th day. Number 2, if you reduce it down in Gematria, partnership. Let us continue to dwell upon how we might improve our character, our relationships, through our deeds, through our speech, whether written or spoken. Let us be mindful of when we have used our words to affect another's opinion of someone. Let us think about when we have been on the receiving end of this Lashon Hara as the listener and how damaging that felt. Why is this person polluting your sphere? Shut it down. Or let us think about when we've even been the person spoken about. No one is exempt because we are human and people are people. Let us ask what purpose this particular encounter serves. Did we do anything to stop it? Or did we feed it? Did we spread it? Did we propagate it? Did we encourage it? Did we maybe even enjoy a little of it? Let us think about how best we might focus our words to elevate rather than tear down. And let us ask for the strength to avoid temptation. And let us use our words to help and heal so that we may all be instruments of blessing. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be God's will. Shabbat Shalom.